Islam, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I want to ask everyone who is able to please rise and face the east as we recite the Moorish American prayer.
Islam, put your feet together at a 45-degree angle, 2 fingers up on the right, 5 fingers up on the left in a cactus pose, and repeat after me. Allah.
Allah.
The Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
My salvation.
And my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Islam.
Islam Moors, I want to announce this meeting is now open. This is the Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple 30, Columbus, Ohio. First and foremost, here we always rise, giving the highest of praise to the Most High, our Father God Allah. I extend honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality. I extend honors also to the forerunner to the prophet, our dear brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I also extend honors to the Moorish and the American flags, and I extend honors to the Charter and its 10 wonders. I extend honors also to the first Supreme Grand Sheikh who was appointed by the Prophet, Brother E. Millie Ill, and I extend honors to all the faithful, all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Lastly, I extend honors to the Office of Supreme Grand Sheikh and Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam Moors, Brother Jackson Bey, if you are able to, please read our divine constitution and bylaws.
Islam Grand Sheikh, I rise giving all praise to Allah, honor to the Prophet Ali, honor to the forefathers and foremothers, and honor to the Asiatic nations and the Muslims all over the world. Salvation, Allah, unity. Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims in the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted 65 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name, recognized by their government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love, bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah, Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, the Noble Jew Ali, Home Office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam, Islam, Islam is peace and love. Happy Holy Day.
Islam. Islam and gratitude, brother. Brother Kobe, if you are able to, please read our writs.
Islam, Grand Sheikh, I rise and give perfect praise to the great God Allah. Rise and give honor to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Rise and give honor to the forerunner Marcus Messiah Garvey. Rise and give honor to all ills and bays, all masters on the call and on the planet. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is instructions from your Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Be faithful to your forefather divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and the judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it none. The end of times are drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Jew Ali. And that's why many hearts have turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they'll be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. They are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must then catch its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their rewards from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending our divine plea to all Moorish Americans. They do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Jew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I'm glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Ajax must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world would not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Happy Holy Day, Muslims.
Islamic gratitude, brother. Sister Lachey L, would you please read our additional laws?
Islam. I rise and give all praise to the great Father God Allah. Give honors to the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Give honors to the forerunner Marcus Messiah Garvey. I give honors to all Muslims on the call and all Muslims around the world. Questionary and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all business. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acted upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their EDUC meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on the meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish uplifting funds, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I would have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we're to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must conform himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out of your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meeting and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and mind pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Islam. Islam.
Islam and gratitude, sister. Morris, before we get started, we're going to be in chapter 14 today. But I just want to just real quick hit on a few things that we discussed on Sunday, since we were talking about Holy Day. Speaking about the significance of Friday as our holy day, we spoke about just reflecting on why all Moorish Americans, all true Moorish Americans, should be honoring or respecting that day, or keeping to that day. All of us should be participating in that. It's not just something just to do, just like how we grew up just going to church, maybe not even really knowing why, doing that on a special day, on a Sunday. We spoke about how Jews and Christians have their day, and how in all reality, whether people see it like that or not, there's a cycle that is being respected and honored. So we understand that we measure time by cycle ages, right? And we also understand that there's small cycles. We have smaller cycles. We know that in the Quran questionnaire, it just says there's 7 days in a year, right? And it's because this cycle that we measure. And it just goes on and on. At the gate to every age, we deem a milestone in the journey of the race. So yes, while you might celebrate your birthday, right? That's one cycle. It's a year, right? But then we also know there's a greater cycle. It's around 25,000 years that, for this whole, our sun, our whole solar system to go around the great sun. It's at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So we know and understand that we actually measure time by cycle ages. And so for us, even just on holding to that holy day, we're getting back into this ancient tradition, right? Which is our own tradition. It's been brought and returned to us, right? So that we can honor it, So it's a day, not just for us, individually, even though this is an individual journey that we all must do this spiritual work on ourselves, but it's also a communal gathering, right? Of worshiping and coming together, as a unit. So there's not just, every man for himself, right? And then also understanding that Friday, okay, yeah, on a deeper level, the symbolism behind it represents the day of creation, right? When man was formed in the flesh, and also the day of transition when man departs from the flesh. And that's dual symbolism, right? Because that's the nature, right? The cyclical nature of existence. It's always like that. So we honor that, we respect that, and we know that no matter what, we take out time to make sure that we are, putting in a little work spiritually, even if throughout the week we don't even touch the Quran. We ain't even thinking about it because you got so much stuff going on, so much worldly stuff to deal with. Come on, everybody here has worldly stuff to deal with, right? I know I'm not the only one. So everybody has worldly stuff to deal with, and probably none of us is out here just floating around, in the meditating position, just not having to deal with anything. No, so we have to deal with stuff in the world, and that's not even a bad thing, right? So we deal with that, but no matter what, we're going to keep balance because we make sure that at least, okay, we do have the holy day, we do stop things, we do understand that we need to give some time towards spiritual enlightenment and spiritual development, and that's why we don't take this for granted, right, Morris? But it's not a holy day, No, we glad we come in here, with joy and know that it's important to give that time, at least that time, right? And so we're honoring that, and by us coming in back in doing this, now we're coming into our own nature. Plus, we're getting in balance with just nature and as a whole, with the whole entire existence. So we're not out of balance anymore. And that's why the sister Douglas L was speaking about Friday. For most of us, Friday is the opposite, right? It's the day, like, to get drunk, get high, get messed up, get toe up out here, right? And even like I know being younger, right, was looking forward to Friday night, be on some demon time. We're going to be out here doing God knows what, okay? And now growing as Moorish Americans, we know to put this time towards, reflecting on our spiritual nature, doing that work to subdue our lower self. All right. And so we're coming back into balance. And this coming back into balance is important because this is just one of the stepping stones to us coming into our true power. You may think, oh, all this talk, all this spiritual stuff, blah, blah, blah. But that's only because you don't know your true nature and your true power. And it's not me. Hold on. It's not me saying it like I'm shaking my finger at somebody like I know and you don't. It's just that we don't really know that Allah is really within us, that these aren't just words that are in the Quran, that we really do have almost unlimited power, even in this physical form, that we really can't be oppressed, that we really can't be poor or sick or any of these things, right? So we're getting back to our true purpose in life, to get to our true self, our core. This is why the prophet put this in the beginning of the Quran and established the holy day in the Sunday school. And this is also why he said from out of the Sunday school will come the guiders of the nation, right? So our nation is not going to be like the non-secular, like the Roman nation. And not knocking the Romans or anyone else. It's just saying we don't have a separation of God from how we live, from anything that we do. So from out of the Sunday schools, right? Out of the temples will come the Moors who are going to establish the new society, the new reality, where everything is in order, everything is in balance with nature, and everything is divine, emanating from our true nature, our true self, our God self, right? So we have this established, and the Friday and Sunday every week, no matter what. So even if we're out here hustling, doing what we have to do, we are still putting in time towards our real purpose. And it has to be stated like that so that we don't forget what this is truly about. Because even if you just do some work, just meditating on a regular basis and not skipping if you're meditating once a week, don't skip any weeks. If you're meditating a couple days a week, don't skip any days. If you're meditating every day for 10 minutes, don't skip even one session. You will begin to unfold portions of yourself, greater portions of yourself that you didn't even really think was there. You will know that these are not just words. The true nature, even, doing the work to open your third eye, just any of this spiritual work to unfold your true nature, to see the potential that you really have, just seeing a portion, just touching a portion of the higher self and knowing that this is real and that you have access to it. You will know why the prophet put these spiritual lessons, the spiritual teachings, these divine instructions at the forefront of everything that we do, and why we don't want to do anything without keeping this as a part of what we do and who we are, right? Because this guarantees our success. So those aren't just empty words, but I just wanted to try, and I hope I'm doing a decent job to try to put this in perspective. We do not want to overlook what's going on here in the temples. I don't want anyone to think this is just monotonous. We just doing it all. This is boring. No, this is important. And it may seem boring, but however, if you stick to it, if you are disciplined and don't skip, don't, fall off, you're going to unfold a lot within you. Each and every one of us will. And you're going to see why this is our true purpose in life, and why trying to do anything without this is pointless. Okay? It's just like the story from the Quran where the people in the village are just toiling. They're toiling, they're reaping in a scantily way, right? They're trying to get stuff out the ground. The ground doesn't have the minerals and stuff in it to grow. The land is barren. Okay? That's what it's like when we're working without tapping into the true power within us. The true vision emanating from Allah. And so the prophet set us up to succeed, and he doesn't want us to skip out on this portion because it's the most important. From a worldly perspective, forget all this stuff. Forget all this spirituality. What are you doing, man? From a worldly perspective, it's not important. But also remember, that is a Roman perspective, and that is not our nature. That is someone else's culture. That is someone else's life and way of being. We don't remove the divinity from what we do. We did, and that's why we're in the position that we're in now. And even many Moors who think they know something, right? They leaving that portion out. And that's why they don't have nothing. That's why there aren't any Moorish banks and things, but we working on it. These things are going to happen. But we're not leaving that portion out, Moors. So just wanted to touch on that briefly. I didn't want to talk too long on that. Let's go ahead and go into our Quran. Do we have any volunteers to read in chapter 14? Any volunteers? Because I'm dry over here. I don't want to be in here coughing and stuff. So hang on. All right, more. So let's go ahead and go into chapter 14. The ministry of John the Harbinger. John the Harbinger returns to Hebron, lives as a hermit in the wilds, visits Jerusalem, and speaks to the people. So, of course, we're talking about the ministry of John the Harbinger. And we don't want to just read this. We want to see, how this actually impacts us, our daily lives. The real reason why this is in here and chosen by the prophet. It's not even about trying to go into the history or trying to find John the Baptist in, in Jerusalem or wherever right now. It's not about that, right? We want to know how this applies to us in our own personal spiritual development. So going to starting from verse 1, it came to pass when John, the son of Zacharias, and Elizabeth had finished all his studies in the Egyptian schools, he returned to Hebron, where he abode for certain days. And then he sought the wilderness and made his home in David's cave, where many years before he was instructed by the Egyptian sage. Some people called him Hermit of Engedi, and others said he is the wild man of the hills. He clothed himself with skins of beasts. His food was carobs, honey, nuts, and fruits. When John was 30 years of age, he went into Jerusalem, and in the marketplace he sat in silence 7 days. The common people and the priests, the scribes and Pharisees came out in multitudes to see the silent hermit of the hills, but none were bold enough to ask him who he was. But when his silent past was done, he stood forth in the midst of all and said, "Behold, the king has come. The prophets told of him, the wise men long have looked for him. Prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king." And that was all he said, and then he disappeared, and no one knew where he had gone. And there was great unrest in all Jerusalem. The rulers heard the story of the hermit of the hills, and they sent couriers forth to talk with him, that they might know about the coming king, but they could find him not. And after certain days, he came again unto the marketplace, and all the city came to hear him speak. He said, "Be not disturbed, you rulers of the state. The coming king is no antagonist. He seeks no place on any earthly throne. The eyes of men shall see it not, and none can enter but the pure in heart. Prepare, O Israel, to meet your king." Again, the hermit disappeared. The people strove to follow him, but he had drawn a veil about his form, and men could see him not. Jewish day came. Jerusalem was filled with Jews and proselytes from every part of Palestine. And John stood in the temple court and said, "Prepare, O Israel, to meet your king. So you have lived in sin. The poor cry in your streets, and you regard them not. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded friends and foes alike. You worship Allah with lip and voice. Your hearts are far away and set on gold. Your priests have bound upon the people burdens far too great to bear. They live upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. Your doctors, your lawyers, doctors, scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are but tumors on the body of the state. They toil not, neither do they spin, yet they consume the profits of your marts of trade. Your rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of any man. And robbers ply their calling in the sacred hills. The holy temple you have sold to thieves. Their dens are in the sacred places set apart for prayer. Hear, hear, you people of Jerusalem. Reform. Turn from your evil ways, or Allah will turn from you. And heathen from afar will come. And what is left of all your honor and your fame will pass in one short hour. Prepare, Jerusalem, prepare to meet your king." He said no more. He left the court, and no one saw him go. The priests, the doctors, and the scribes were all enraged. They sought for John, intent to do him harm. They found him not. All right, Islam Moors. So, once again, we want to meditate on this and speak on the meaning, why this is in here, why the prophet, and as he divinely prepared the Quran, why he chose this measure for us. All right. Now we see in John the Harbinger's ministry, he's shaking things up. right? He's speaking truth about the corruption that's going on, and that corruption touches everyone, right? From all walks of life, and especially the elite and the people who are pretty much running society. So he's making enemies. All right. Um, we also see that, of course, he's the forerunner to the Christ who's coming, right? But as it relates to each and every one of us, John is the forerunner of the Christ consciousness, which is each and every one of us. We're all supposed to be the Christ. We're all supposed to be the angels, just like the prophet. A prophet is an angel of Allah. We're all supposed to be angels of Allah, but we're not supposed to just call yourself that, right? Just like you're not supposed to just call yourself God. Oh, I'm God, I'm Allah. No, we must do the work to actually be what we say we are. All right. So he's the forerunner of the Christ consciousness that's rising in each and every one of us. And so his teachings, right? It's all about this spiritual preparation, right? For this inner transformation that's coming. Okay. And just coming in here, I would say, because the message he's giving to the people, right? He's rising them up. He's getting everyone prepared for the coming king. Right. Remember, this coming king, this isn't really something out there. This is actually for each and every one of us. It's a message. It's an internal message to each and every one of us to prepare ourselves. Right. And so as he's coming and giving his message, right, he's making enemies. He's riling up the people. He's exposing, the flaws that everyone has. Right. The things that people are entertaining. The things that people are putting up on high, right? The principles that the people are taking on. And I would say, his message, is getting more and more urgent. Right? He's coming back. Here, you people. He's talking to everyone, right? Why do you think his message, right? This message of preparation or preparing for this coming king, why do you think this message is so urgent? Anybody have any words, thoughts?
Islam. Happy holy day, family. Arise, give perfect praise to the great God Allah. Arise, give honor to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali and the forerunner Marcus Messiah Garvey. With this, I took that the Prophet was letting us know, just like in this passage, it's the same thing that's going on today. It's everybody pretty much in the town is not living the life. Everybody in the town is kind of doing their own thing and kind of, in lower self, and due to the governments and things in that nature. And he had just came and sat for 7 days, which is kind of, symbolic. Didn't say anything, then left. That silence was so strong that everybody talked about it until he came back. And then he came back. And again, also demonstrating too from that time and this time, the time that was when man wasn't. And also that the fact of angels are on every corner. So that's why he was at the corner of the marketplace. Islam, I'm kind of getting more of that as far as what the prophet wanted us to understand with that and by putting that in what he divinely prepared. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, brother, I appreciate you and gratitude for sharing that your measure. And definitely with you. I mean, like you said, it's the same message, speaking about the people at the time is right on time. It's the same thing that's going on now. And then the message, reform, turn from your evil ways or Allah will turn from you, right? So this preparation for this coming king, this is something that's actually within each and every one of us. But he's letting it be known, because it's not like somebody's watching you to see if you're doing right. People think they're getting away with stuff. But it's like, look, if you're not even doing the work on yourself at all, there's no way you're going to meet your king. All right. And this king that he's talking about, right? It's not some worldly ruler. It's not an earthly king. It's our own inner spiritual awakening. Just as he's saying, like, when the rulers are wondering, they worry about what he's talking about. He's like, nah, it's not, so he seeks no place on any earthly throne. It's like, no, don't even worry about that, right? Because this is actually something that each and every one of us have. So it's an urgent message to each and every one of us. And his message, eventually touches everyone in society. He goes through and he gets everyone riled up. Because each and every one of us has vices, right? So each and every last one of us needs to look within and begin to purify our hearts. That's why you have him sitting in solitude, right? He's taking on this minimalist lifestyle where he's not, participating in all these other things because he's reflecting, on his inner self, doing the work on himself, which just comes back into even just with the holy day, right? We have to take out some time, at least some time, to do the real work. And when I say the real work, this doesn't mean that the physical things that we're doing aren't important, like, eating, working, exercise, anything that we're doing. Like, of course we have to do that. All right. But also we want to be in balance. It's just like we want to be in balance. It's just like the brother Jackson Bay, he had mentioned that this years ago, just talking about the monks who were like whooping themselves with lashes, right? We're not trying to go so far in that direction that we're out of balance. We're not trying to act like the physical stuff and the worldly stuff doesn't matter. But we want to be in balance. So we have to give at least some time to doing the work to strengthen our connection to our true nature, right? Understanding our true nature. And then also when we're in balance, when we're doing that work to keep this in our mind, then when things happen, when people die, people pass away, or we should actually say make the transition, because we know that people don't ever truly really die, right? They change forms. But, then as things like this happen, they don't throw us off. They don't stop everything. We don't go into shock and get all messed up mentally because we're in balance. We don't forget. We don't forget our true nature. So this message, about preparing to meet the king, this is something that each and every one of us has. We all want to do the work on our own inner spiritual awakening. That is the preparing for the coming king. Just understand that this is something that affects each and every one of us. I see hand raised, Sister Douglas. I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam, happy holy day, family. First and foremost, I'd like to rise and give her praise to our Father God Allah, honors to his prophet Noble Ali, honors to the forerunner of the prophet Marcus Mosiah Garvey, honors to the first of appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, our brother Emily Ill, honors to everything Moorish, and honors to all you Muslims on the call, Islam. I just want to take a different approach to the measure, and gratitude for, all the sheikhs who spoke and demonstrated, because I feel like all the stuff that we're reading about is, happening or can happen within us as well. So it's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when you or me, when we are ready, the purity that's within us, our John the Baptist that dwells inside of our temple cells, will pave the way for the coming of the King that's within us. So it's like another level of Allah unfolding within us. And, we would observe that level up. We will observe that positive change or that goal being met in our lives. And I just want to share a scripture, because John 16, 23 and 24 in the Bible, it teaches us how to ask. And to me, that's teaching us how to pray, because in churches, like,
I never really understood the proper way to pray. You know, there is a right way to pray for your prayers to be answered. And it's not just, just asking. You have to put forth the feeling with what you're asking for. You have to already live in that moment, that good feeling that it has already happened for you. And that's what they don't teach us. They don't teach us that key point. And it is so important because, when we're praying, we're just talking. We're just thinking about things. We're talking about stuff we want. And it don't really happen. I know a lot of people's prayers don't be getting answered. And it's like, what makes one person's prayer be answered and what makes the other person's prayer don't be answered? And especially if they're asking for the same exact thing, when they're praying for the same purpose. And so it's the feeling that the individual, the energy, the frequency that they're bringing forth in the prayer to make it real. And that is so important for us to understand, because the feeling gets the blessing. The universe is mental and we are powerful beings. And that's why it's important for us to come in to our meetings and learn these higher consciousness lessons, because it is taking us back to the ways of our ancient forefathers, divine creator principles, not only through words and the knowledge, but through the wisdom and the acts and the deeds that create our realities every day. So John was the harbinger to pave the way for purity, right? For Jesus. And what Jesus said, ye are God. Jesus said, what I can do, you can do better. Don't worship me. You are me. So if we understand that, we are what Jesus was, without a doubt or contradiction, right? Only when you are ready for more and you ask in the proper tone, in an intelligent tone, like the prophet said, ask intelligent tone, and you'll receive a favorable reply. Everything, the way will be opened up for us. Islam, only then will we realize the frequency and change the ethers all around us. They will rise and connect us to whatever it is, the energy that we are desiring. But we have to be what we want. We have to be what we desire. And how do you be what you desire? Through your feelings, Islam, through that positivity, through that love. So all the obstacles that was in your way will just move out your way for you. That's why the prophet teaches us to love instead of hate, because through that love frequency, that higher vibration, we could create and we could make everything that we truly desire. And when you do it as a collective instead of as individuals, you can make it happen quicker and more powerful. It'll be more beautiful than you could ever imagine. So that's my portion of this Islam family. I yield the floor.
Islam gratitude. Will you say that verse again?
Islam, it is John 16, 23 and 24.
Oh, will you read the verse?
I don't have it right in front of me, but it teaches us how to ask. It's I'm paraphrasing, but it's ask without ask without hidden motives, and be in the joy of your answer, and it will be granted unto you.
Oh, Islam. That's a powerful measure. For
Islam.
that does show how to pray. When if you're praying, you're asking for something, you're trying to bring about a change. It's letting you know to already be in the feeling of whatever it is that you're asking for. If you're sick, then you have to change to already being well, or if
Islam.
whatever it is that you want, you have to live in that. So
And
that's
that's why
powerful.
Islam, one more thing. That's why, like, we listen to Reverend Ike. He puts us on game. Like, he tells us exactly what this is. Reverend Ike, like, he was ahead of his time because he was telling us to tell our feelings how to feel. And until you understand what that means and really do that, you will never really experience the magic. Islam, I give the floor.
Islam, that's real good. Is we go through things in life. If you're not, if you're experiencing stuff that you don't like, you're going through things that you don't like, you don't really want to be happening to you. If you're not able to just because maybe you're trying to tell somebody what's going on. If you're not able to do that in a non-emotional way, you shouldn't even talk about it. The last thing any of us should be doing is big up in our downfall. Okay? Because when you're doing that, you're reliving the moment and you're bringing about more experiences that I guess don't want. You're putting your emotion into it. And you're creating more of those experiences for yourself. So, like, the last thing we want to do is, play up our own downfall. And so the proper way to pray, though, like as she was just sharing, in your mind to already switch from where you didn't want to be at to being there, having it, achieving it, and to hold to it and not betray it. And this is also something that the measures are being revealed with John the Baptist. He's coming and telling us or showing us how to be in balance, right? Now you get an extreme where he's turning away from all of the worldly things, but this is also being brought to us or given to us to show us that, hey, we can't be distracted. So distracted by materialism and all the distractions in our own lives, right? Sometimes, like talking to people, talking to your children or whoever, right? And and not to throw younger people under the bus, but because people 30 and over, 40s and older, we can be distracted and stuff too. But it's even more difficult for them to be focused, to listen, to learn, to always have some distraction. I always got to hold this device. Yeah, I hold this phone no matter what I'm doing. And then they have so much stuff, TV and games and stuff all the time, 24/7 access to all of that stuff. So it's really hard for them to even put it down, And that's not like something that's like making you more stronger and powerful. It's a device. It's a man-made device that was made to draw and pull your attention. Because attention is currency. That's why they call it content creating. And that's why Netflix, they buying up all of these TV shows, even old shows, and they're always buying new content. Content. This is all about getting your attention, keeping you distracted. They have this book that I don't think they even do this. I don't even know if they still do this at the universities, but it used to be required reading. It's called Entertaining Yourself to Death. So if you take a communication class, which would be like one of the required classes to graduate, you got to take it and you got to read that book, Entertaining Ourselves to Death. I think it was by Neil Postman. And in that book, it showed you pretty much what the times that we're living in right now. But I think he wrote it like the 70s or 80s. But now we're so far in, and there's so many distractions. And so we're in the age actually where we are beginning to rise in consciousness, and where it's inevitable. Everything is rising in consciousness. Everything is rising, the whole entire planet. And that's why there's a push to keep us more distracted, further away from our true nature. And so just getting back to this message with John the Baptist, this is why it's so urgent. Coming to the people, prepare to meet your king. And he's pointing everything out. All of these worldly, earthly things, getting even further into the earthly things to the point where we're getting distorted and deviant with things that we're doing, right? Getting stuck in these earthly, worldly ways. It's not to say that, don't take part in, your earthly duties, things that we have to do. Is just saying, don't get so out of whack with it that you don't even notice what's really happening. And what's really happening is we're supposed to be preparing to meet our King. We are supposed to be doing the work to unfold Allah within, right? And so with John, he's got a challenge. He's challenging us to confront this same stuff, the distractions in our own lives, the materialism, things that get us stuck and further away from our true nature, right? The way the games are too now with the, sim games and stuff where they're playing a character and they got their own little world and stuff. So you're getting even further, deeper into the distractions. And there's no time being put at all towards hearing, being able to perceive and hear that still small voice that's within each and every one of us. And that still small voice is the real, it's the only reality. That still small voice can make everything stop around you, right? That still small voice is all the power, but we're not even trying to hear it. And we have so many distractions and so many devices and things around us. And, and it's already in the air and the Wi-Fi and all that, right? It's bad enough people, got the Bluetooth thing in their ear all the time, right? All of these things to keep us away from our true nature. So this is coming just to remind us, to let us know. It's not even so much about this John the Baptist way back then, preparing people to meet Jesus way back then. No, this is a message for each and every one of us, right? Because where's the nearest place we can meet Allah? In the heart. So it's telling us all, right? Stop what you're doing. Turn from your evil ways or Allah will turn from you, right? We must prepare to meet our King, each and every last one of us. And so just once again, that's why we do hold to this. We make sure that we're listening or putting that in sometime, at least sometime, right? For getting in touch with our true self, our true nature. When we look in the Quran, it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, looking at Surah 3, verse 39, it says, so the angels called him while he was standing in prayer in the chamber. Indeed, Allah gives you good tidings of good tidings of Yahya, which is John, who shall confirm Allah's word, and he will be a leader well protected against temptation for women and a prophet from amongst our exceptionally pious servants. It's just saying, once again, just taking that time out to go within, right, in the chamber, standing in prayer, just at least putting some time to go within. All right. And then we will begin to, unveil our true nature, confirming a word from Allah. Our true nature will begin to be revealed to us. So we have to put in that time. That's also why it's good practice to make sure if you're not praying at all, and just keeping it real, just being honest, right? If you're not praying at all, at least now listen and make sure that you at least take time to pray and meditate on the holy day. And in prayer, okay, prayer is when people run in their mouth. But in meditation is when you are quieting yourself, quieting your mouth and your thoughts. Maybe closing your eyes, but trying to stop the thoughts. It's hard for the younger people. Cut off the devices. I don't have to be entertained right now. Stop with that mess. Always got to be entertained. Just cut it off for 10 minutes. Quiet yourself down. All the thoughts that's going to come in, because this is when you realize what's really going on when you not try, but because we're not going to try. When we try to do something, we already given the excuse to fail. So let's meditate at least once a week. Now, when you do the work to meditate, this is when you begin to see what's really going on. And what's really going on is that this carnal mind is like a monkey. It won't shut up. This is when you hear all the stupid thoughts that come into our head all the time, but we don't think nothing about it because we have so many distractions. But just sitting down and being quiet just for 10 minutes, especially if you're not used to meditating, you'll see how many foolish thoughts come in that we have to quiet down. And the best way to do it is just to, especially for beginners, just focus on your breathing. Breathe in for 10 seconds, breathe out for 10 seconds. You get that down, breathe in for 20 seconds, breathe out for 20 seconds. You know, maybe keep going longer. Breathe in 30 seconds, breathe out 30 seconds. That's one breath a minute. Once you get down to one breath a minute, you're really making progress, because as you slow your breaths down, you also raise up your own vibration. Why? Because the breathing nature that we have is getting us in tune with with our own higher nature. This is a portion of yoga, like slowing down our breaths. Right? So even just working, just to count your breaths in 10 seconds, out, you're doing a lot. The sister said you live longer as well. This is the real work. The quieting of the mind, the breathing, not the constant entertaining TikTok, whatever people's looking at. It's foolishness. It's distractions. So we're getting a reminder. Slow down the distractions. At least give yourself one day a week. We really want to do more than that, but if we're not doing any days a week, at least that one day. And I'm saying that I'm focusing on the meditation part versus the prayer, because the praying, which you can do praying, you know, closing your eyes and talking and saying certain words, but really praying anytime you feel yourself, you know, achieving something or whatever it is that you're trying to do, that you're praying for. Anytime that you do that internally, seeing it done, you've prayed. It's an internal thing. It's not what they've been teaching us all the time. And that's actually the most powerful way to do it. And a lot of times the best time to do that is before you fall asleep. All right? But I don't want to take up too much more time, Morris. Before we close out today, I do want to just share a few things. Looking at the Charles Fillmore's Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, John, from a metaphysical perspective, John represents the power of renunciation, the letting go of the material for the sake of spiritual growth. His message prepares us to accept the Christ consciousness within. Remember, this ain't about Jesus is coming. It's Jesus is each and every one of us supposed to be, because we're actually all supposed to be working to rise that Christ consciousness that we all have, the Christ energy. And this is why he's in there symbolically. He's going so hard with, you know, get out of that, you know, stop worrying about all of the distractions, all of this stuff, right? Because he's like, let all that go for the spiritual. All right. And in the wilderness, you know, he goes into the wilderness that symbolizes the solitary path of inner reflection and spiritual preparation. And this is something that we all must go through before we're even ready for greater spiritual work. And so that's another thing. Some of us don't even really like ourselves. We don't even really like sitting in silence. How many of us can't even like be next to each other and be quiet for like 1 or 2 minutes without feeling awkward, right? We have to work on this. We have to work, but it's not the next person got to work. We have to work on ourselves, right? Because we're not supposed to have that problem. Then Jerusalem, lastly, Jerusalem represents the city of peace within ourselves, our soul seat, and it must be purified and made ready for divine presence. Okay? And so this is just looking at that from a spiritual perspective. Once again, just something that we can take away from this for ourselves on an everyday basis in our daily life. Just remember this message from John about preparation is relevant. It's always relevant, right? This spiritual preparation, this self-examination, right? Understanding our true nature, repentance and service to others, right? And putting aside time to connect to our higher self, to connect to Allah within, and making this a practice. And we can start with the holy day, and hopefully we can move on, make it an everyday thing, at least 10 minutes a day, right? That is not asking for a lot. I'm telling you, even if just 10 of us are putting aside 10 minutes a day for meditation, you know, and then meditation and prayer, we would be able to accomplish a lot more. If we even meditating on, you know, something like, hey, say we all agree that we want to have our own town, our own Moorish town. If we're putting 10 minutes a day aside on prayer, meditating on that, right? Just living like it's already done, believing that it's already done, not entertaining any thoughts this negatives, y'all ain't got it, y'all ain't never going, nah, just having confidence and knowing that it's done, giving thanks, giving gratitude that it's already done. It'll come to us faster than we could even possibly think that it would be done. It really will be done. All right. That does take, you know, discipline, you know, to do that, right? Because we have so many distractions and other things going on. But just sharing that, you know, we can do things, you know, in our lives, and then as a community, because, you know, we're Muslims, we do this, you know, as a community. So we really can do a lot. And this just once again getting to our true nature. This is why the prophet put it at the forefront. Yeah, we don't have limitations that we may think that we do. We don't have those limitations. All right. And so we're tapping into our true nature, which is unlimited, right? Which has all the capacities, all the capabilities of our creator, which is Allah. So, in saying that, I want to turn over the floor for any questions or comments, Moors. If you have anything you would like to say, please feel free to speak. And on that note, I yield the floor. Islam. Okay, there's no questions or comments. We're gonna go ahead and go into the closing. I want you guys to think though, more just you know, think over this over the next few days on how we as Moorish Americans can uplift fallen humanity. But remember, we have to first prepare our own inner selves, right? It doesn't happen without that. All right. So on that note, Moors, let's go ahead and go into the closing. We're gonna read our divine warning. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind, to their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know the law in the city hall, and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national Constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. So, there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with the divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the prophet. All right, Islam more. So just to wrap things back up, just once again, speaking about John's message, he speaks about purifying the heart and the mind for divine work. He's focused on the inner kingdom, right? The king that John's referring to is the Christ within, and that's a symbol of divine consciousness that we must prepare ourselves to receive. Remember, this isn't about some people way back then. This is about each and every one of us. It's a universal message. All right. And so we want to do this work on ourselves to unfold our own true nature, right? And remember, we spoke about prayer, meditating. We want to make this ideally we want to make this an everyday part of our lives, at least once a day. At least. But before we get there, we have to start praying, meditating. So we want to make sure that, if we're not doing this at all, that at least on the holy day, once a week, we're putting at least 10 minutes towards quieting our mind, practicing meditation, at least 10 minutes on the holy day. Okay? And this act, you can call this prayer as well. So we want to put at least 10 minutes a day towards this on Friday, on the holy day. And, if you're not there yet, work your way up to doing this once a day. But want to make sure all the Muslims are doing this. Okay, because you don't want this just to be, something that you do every now and then. You're not getting any power from this. You're not getting, gaining any real insight from this. Right? We want this to be impacting everyone's lives. So we're doing this work and we do it on a regular basis and you don't stop. Because remember, this is your true nature that we are going back to. So if we do this on a regular basis and we become disciplined in this, we will all see the benefits of it. All right. And then on that note, let's go ahead and close things out more. Before we do, though, I do want to put the call out there for collections for those who would like to assist us in the great work of uplifting fallen humanity. Make sure that you go to our temple website, MorrisAmerican.com, and send a donation to our temple. Just scroll on down to the bottom and use the donate button on there to send a donation to the temple. For Moors that are already, members, you can also send your dues on there. Click the button that says temple dues. And for those who are interested in joining and proclaiming, click the contact button. And you can use the form or use the phone number on there to call the temple. And on that note, Moors, let's go ahead. I want to announce without further ado, we're going into the closing of the meeting. Having already read all of our writs, I don't think we have. Let's see. We are having a food drive. Sister, what date in November will we be giving away the food? Okay, that's going to be on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I don't have the date. We will be doing that here in Columbus. We don't have any other dates. So Moors, I'll speak to you on Sunday, Moors. That's it All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I want to ask everyone who is able to please rise and face the east as we recite the closing prayer. Standing with our heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle and holding up 2 fingers on the right and 5 on the left. You do not need to repeat after me. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. We ask this in thy holy name in the 7 Elohim. Amen. Islam. Happy Holy Day, Muslims. Peace and love. This meeting is now adjourned.
Islam family, happy holy day.
Family, happy holy day.
Happy holy
Peace
day.
and love. Happy holy day.
Islam. Happy holy day.